Yo, Crushers, welcome back to the channel. Before we jump into today's video, I've got some really exciting announcements to make. We've got some big winners from our previous giveaways, so let's see who's taking home the prizes. Boom! There's your first $50 giveaway winner from the last video. Congratulations to you, Zay. And there's your second $50 winner. That's awesome, Mr. Ben. Now, last but definitely not least, let's find out who our channel member giveaway winner is. Way to go, Khalid. There we go. Huge congrats to all three of you. All of you winners, make sure you slide into my DMs on Discord and claim your prizes. I'm looking forward to getting these to you guys. And look, I gotta take a second here to give a massive shout out to all my channel members out there. You guys are absolutely solid. Like, I genuinely appreciate you showing up every single video, engaging with the content, supporting the channel, and just being part of this community. You're the backbone of what we're building here. Thank you for being real ones. Seriously, I see you, and it means a lot. Let's keep this thing growing together. All right, now let's get into today's video. If you've been anywhere near gaming news in the last few months, you've probably heard the name Clair Obscur Expedition 33 thrown around non-stop. Well, at the Game Awards 2025, this indie role-playing game just absolutely dominated, winning Game of the Year and 9 other awards, which is absolutely insane. But here's the question everyone's asking. Did it actually deserve all that hype? Is it really worth your time? And why did it beat out games like Hollow Knight, Silksong, and Hades 2? Now, full transparency, I actually played this game and cleared it on expert difficulty about 6 months ago. The problem is, I didn't record any gameplay back then because I was just playing it for fun. I had no idea this game was going to become this significant, so I didn't plan on making a video about it. But now that it's won Game of the Year and completely dominated the awards, I figured it's time to break down the hype and give you my honest take. Let's go. Okay, so first, let's talk about who made this game, because that's actually part of the story here. Clair Obscur comes from Sandfall Interactive, a tiny indie studio out of France with, at launch, only about 30 people. These weren't nobodies either. The team is made up of ex-Ubisoft developers who decided to leave and chase their passion project. And when I say passion project, I mean they literally had to teach themselves how to make a game from scratch. According to director Guillaume Broche, when asked how they made this, he said they were watching YouTube tutorials and taking advice from online communities. This wasn't a mega-budget operation. This wasn't EA or Ubisoft throwing hundreds of millions at the project. It was a scrappy team in Montpellier, France, with a publisher partner called Kepler Interactive. The game launched in April 2025, early in the year, and immediately caught fire. Within 3 days, it hit 1 million copies sold. By the time the Game Awards rolled around in December, it had sold over 5 million copies globally, and after winning Game of the Year, another 200,000 people picked it up in a single week. That's the David beats Goliath story that the gaming press absolutely ate up. But let's dig deeper into whether the game itself actually earned that moment. As you can see on the screen, the game's sales momentum never stopped. Launched in April, hit 1 million in 3 days, and maintained steady growth all the way through the year until the Game Awards bump in December. That kind of sustained interest is rare. Alright, so what is this game actually about? Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a turn-based role-playing game. Think Final Fantasy X vibes. But here's where it gets interesting. It blends traditional turn-based combat with real-time, reaction-based mechanics. You're controlling a party of 6 characters on a suicide mission to stop an entity called the Paintress, who's trapping civilization in an endless cycle of aging and death. The story is dark, melancholic, and deeply emotional. It deals with themes of grief, mortality, and small moments of joy in the face of impossible odds. The characters aren't just one-note archetypes, they have actual depth. And actress Jennifer English, who voices Mael, was so good that she won Best Performance at the Game Awards. There were 14,000 people voting on that category, and she won because people genuinely connected with these characters. Now, the combat, this is where the magic happens, and why people lost their minds. In turn-based role-playing games, usually you just select attacks and wait. That's boring. But in Expedition 33, While it's technically your turn, you're constantly dodging, parrying, timing counters, and executing quick reactions. Every attack has a rhythm to it. When you master parrying and land a perfect counter, it feels incredible, smooth, satisfying. Even better, you can actually complete entire boss fights without taking a single hit if you nail the timing. That's a big deal in the genre. Trust me, I experienced that firsthand when I beat the game on expert difficulty. The world itself has this surreal, painterly aesthetic. It's inspired by European art movements and has this dreamlike quality. The character designs are creative and weird in the best way. And the soundtrack? Composer Lorien Testard's score is Oscar caliber. I'm not exaggerating. This was his debut game project, and he won Best Score and Music at the Game Awards. That never happens for debut composers. So on paper, yeah, I can see why people flipped for this. Let's be real. There's a legitimate case for why this game won Game of the Year. First, it launched in a year when indie games genuinely went toe-to-toe with AAA titles. For the first time in Game Awards history, 50% of the Game of the Year nominees were indie games. And not indie in the sense of made by two people in a garage. Some of these have massive budgets. But Expedition 33 actually is a smaller team that punched way above its weight. Second, the emotional resonance is undeniable. This isn't a game that's good at multiple things, it's exceptional at multiple things. The story hooks you immediately. Within the first hour, most players are emotionally invested. The characters feel real, their dialogue hits hard, and that's difficult to pull off, especially for a debut studio. Third, the combat system is genuinely innovative. It solved a problem that's plagued turn-based role-playing games forever. They can feel slow and methodical. Expedition 33 made turn-based combat feel dynamic and engaging without removing the strategic layer. That's not easy. That's genuinely impressive design. Fourth, the game launched on Game Pass Day 1, which meant millions of people could try it without a $70 entry fee. Word of mouth is insanely powerful, and this game had good word of mouth from normies, not just critics. That matters. And finally, and this is important, the game launched in April and maintained momentum for 8 straight months. It won Golden Joystick Awards in November, won everything at the Game Awards in December, and people are still talking about it. That kind of staying power is rare. Look at these nominees. You've got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 with deep systemic gameplay, Hollow Knight Silksong with technical mastery, Hades 2 with polished mechanics. These are all excellent games. But Expedition 33 dominated across the board with critical acclaim and user scores. The Game Awards didn't just give it Game of the Year, it swept 9 out of 13 nominations. But here's where we get honest. There's also a really solid case that this game is overhyped, and that some of its competitors were equally deserving. Let's start with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This is a medieval immersion simulator that doubled down on everything the first game did and did it better. It has some of the deepest role-playing game mechanics of any game this year. Character builds actually matter, skill progression is meaningful, and the world feels alive in a way that's different from Expedition 33. Some players, genuine players, think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 should have won Best Role-Playing Game at minimum. The thing is, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 doesn't have the cultural moment that Expedition 33 has. It's less flashy, it's slower. But if you're someone who loves systemic depth and emergent gameplay, it might actually be better. Then you've got Hollow Knight Silksong. This is a Metroidvania that's been hyped for years, and when it finally dropped, it delivered. The combat is tighter than the first game. The movement is more fluid. Every boss fight feels like a duel. Critics called it one of the best designed games ever made. Some people genuinely think it's the better game. Hades 2, Supergiant Games' sequel to the roguelike masterpiece. Multiple outlets gave it perfect scores. It's mechanically tighter than Expedition 33 in some ways, more forgiving in some ways, more challenging in others. If the voting body had rewarded Most Polished Sequel, Hades 2 probably wins. And here's where I need to be blunt. Some players think Expedition 33 is legitimately overrated. I found Reddit threads where people say the exploration is tedious, the world design is confusing. Everything looks kind of the same melted, surrealist nightmare. The story pacing has weird jumps, and, this is important, you can completely break the combat system by just parrying every single attack. If you remove the dodge and parry mechanics, the turn-based layer underneath is actually kind of shallow. Plus, let's be honest, the Game Awards love a narrative. An indie studio of former Ubisoft developers making their first game and it's this good? That's a story. A small team that had to learn game development from YouTube videos? That's a story. A game about finding hope in hopeless situations winning Game of the Year in a weird political year? That's a story. And the awards show responds to stories. I'm not saying the game didn't deserve to win. I'm saying there's an argument that the narrative around the game might have pushed it over other equally strong contenders. Okay, real talk. Should you play this game? And the answer depends entirely on who you are. You should play this if you love character-driven narratives. This game is carried by its story and characters, and they're genuinely great. You've been intimidated by turn-based role-playing games, but want to try one. This game is way more approachable than Final Fantasy or Dragon's Quest because the real-time combat makes it feel active. You appreciate artistic presentation. The visual style, the music, the voice acting, this is premium stuff. You want something different. There's nothing else quite like this game. You value atmosphere and emotion over pure mechanical depth. You should be cautious if you hate abstract, surreal art styles. The world design isn't for everyone. It's intentionally dreamlike and Dali-esque, and some people find it visually exhausting. You want massive exploration and discovery. This game is more linear. You're following a path. If you want Baldur's Gate 3 style freedom or Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 style open world depth, this isn't it. You want procedural variety or roguelike replayability. This is a single-player, linear narrative game. One playthrough is the experience. You want pure, deep tactical combat. The turn-based mechanics, once you understand them, aren't incredibly complex. The real-time layer is where the complexity lives. The verdict. It's a 7.5 to 8 out of 10 game that got award season treatment that made it feel like a 10 out of 10. That's not bad. That just means it's a really good game with some legitimate limitations. And whether it's worth your time depends on whether those limitations matter to you. And if it's on Game Pass, there's literally no reason not to try it. Just go in knowing what you're getting. Here's what I actually think. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a really good, ambitious game that proves small indie studios can still create culturally significant experiences. It has genuine strengths in narrative, presentation, and combat design, and it deserved recognition. Did it deserve 9 awards out of 13 nominations? That's where I'm a little more skeptical. I think it won because of the narrative around it. The underdog story, the artistic ambition, the emotional resonance, as much as the game itself. And that's not necessarily wrong. Awards have always been about more than just the game. They're about cultural impact. But let's be real. If we're judging purely on game design, on mechanics, on how fun it is to play, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Silksong, and Hades 2 are in that same tier. The game that wins often depends on how you weight different criteria. Do you value narrative over mechanics? Presentation over depth? That's where the voting bodies differ from players. My take? Expedition 33 is absolutely worth playing, especially if it's available on Game Pass. But go in with realistic expectations. It's a great game, not a perfect one. And that's okay. Here's the thing that really shows how dominant this game was. 9 awards across different categories. Not just Game of the Year, we're talking Best Game Direction, Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, Best Score and Music, Best Independent Game, Best Debut Indie Game, Best Role-Playing Game, and Best Performance. This wasn't a one-category win. This was a sweep. That kind of dominance across voting categories is rare, and it does say something about how strong the game was. All right, Crushers, that's my breakdown. Now, before you head out, I've got another $50 giveaway for you all. Here's how to enter. First, smash that like button. Second, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And third, drop a comment down below and let me know. Do you think Clair Obscur Expedition 33 deserved to win Game of the Year? Or do you think one of the other nominees should have taken it home? I want to hear your hot takes, so get those comments in. If you enjoyed this video, ring that bell so you don't miss when we go live. And finally, the New Year special video. I will be announcing a special giveaway within the first week of January 2026. Consider it a gift from me to all of you solid supporters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.